Come mai la Champions League tu non la vinci mai.
Hey guys, welcome back to our fourth episode of the Brothers of the World podcast. We're moving towards open season now with the transfer window. And we have some moves and some history being made on the business side of the club with revenues and tickets and such. And so without further ado, we have Chino here and we have Hristo here, our usual guys.
Hi guys.
Thank you. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start off with what's happened today. We got Lautaro balling for Argentina in the Copa America this year. He's got 6 goals in all for Argentina in his whole career. It's a really short career. I think it's like 6 and 10 now. He's got two in the Copa America now. And today, a really nice back heel sort of redirection type goal. If you haven't seen it, go find it. To me, it had like some essence of Palacio in the Derby a few years ago. And yeah, it was really nice. It was a knockout round to get the lead for Argentina. It's a big goal.
Who doesn't have 6 and 10?
You know who doesn't have any?
I mean, who doesn't have 6 and 10?
Yeah, he has one like fucking 10, right?
Yeah.
Does Icardi even have a international goal?
1 in 10, Mikey.
1 in 10. Well, 6 and 10 is a big difference from 1 in 10.
That's better than being 2 months out due to a injury.
That is.
Yeah,
true.
he's on an island right now too.
Yeah, have you seen the pics of Wanda? I don't mind being on the fucking beach with Wanda too.
She was just hiding her face, man. Come on now. But yeah, it's good to see that happening and see our guys doing well. The rest of the international front is pretty quiet. I know AFCON's going on, but I don't think there's too much coming out of there with Asamoah, and Keith is on the way out. So, I mean, I'd love to cover him, but it's not really too worth it. I think
he scored a beautiful goal last game.
But we've already redeemed Politano. So sad time. Yeah, I think we messed up there. But life goes on. We have some actual transfers moving now. We get closer to July 1st. We get closer to July. We'll get more moves. What's really big right now is the capital gains. We've heard a lot about it over the years. Nobody really quite 100% understands what goes into it or what comes out of it. But we had a question last week from Jaffa at J4N1, I believe is his Twitter at. Hashtag El Jardino is his username. But he asked us to define capital gains, and we did, but it got cut off, technical difficulties. So we're going to get into it now, and I think I'm going to let Hristo take a crack at that, at describing capital gains before we get into it.
So I understand plusvalenza as a simple term. It basically means that if a team spent around or exactly 100 million euros on a player and gives him 5-year contract that's worth 20 million euros per season, which means that after, for example, if the player left the team in 3 years' time, the club is going to amortize 60 million out of those 100 mil. And if they sell him for 50, for example, that's a 10 million profit that they made, even though they sold him for less, so for like 50 million less than they bought him for.
Yeah. Okay. I've never really gotten into it too much. I'm not quite the accountant.
Like Juventus did for Ronaldo. They paid 100 million. They gave him 5-year contract that's worth 20 per season. So if they sell him next season for 90 million,
they make 10 million plus.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I know they also count the salaries in it as well, but it's even more fucked up to calculate on them.
Yeah, but
yeah. I think that's good enough for our simple explanation of this is getting very misconstrued.
I think for the agreement that we entered with UEFA, the agreement stipulated that we had to make, I think, 30 million or something in capital gains every season, though.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
part of the agreement. That's why we were
Yeah.
always chasing this magical figure every season.
So this year we're selling off Rizzo and Gavioli, which were two of the guys on the Primavera this year. They're going to Genoa for a combined $8 million. We've got Andrea Adarante going to Parma for $5 million. We have Zeno Van Housden, who's had like 2 knee surgeries over the past 3 years. He's going to Liège for $12.6 million, which is probably robbery, but I'm not going to say anything. I prefer not to speak.
Worth it.
What's what?
It's worth it, every penny.
Oh, yeah. Oops. We have Davide Marola going to Genoa for around 2.7. We had we sold Zappa to Pescara this winter for 3, which counts in this window.
But he's so fucking shit. Oh my god! I remember him. I remember watching him last summer, and I don't know how he's even playing professional football. Honestly, I wouldn't accept him on my 4th-tier Macedonian side.
Well, we're getting $3 million for him, so somebody's got somebody's nudes or something.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Hristo. Allow it. No?
Yeah. We've got even some older deals that are going to be in this window are going to be Ray Minaj, the guy who fucked around for a few years. He's going to a second division Spanish side. We're getting $2 million from that.
Who is that?
Ray Minaj.
Seriously? He's still
The
around?
Albanian guy.
Yeah, the Albanian. Yeah, he's going to the second division Spanish side, and we're getting $2 million off of
I
that.
think Longo is also in the second Spanish division.
Longo is still around too, right?
Yeah, he's in the.
Samuel Longo, Ray Manaj, and George Pushkash, the trio, the fatal trio.
And we also get $2.5 million for Ansaldi this year because that was a 2-year loan, and then we got the $2.5 million for him.
Boom, Ansaldi.
Jesus. Hello, Plusvalenza.
Yeah, so I did some math, and I might have left a couple out. I may not have done all my math, but I got that with these sales, just what we've done so far, that's $35.8 million. And the number supposed is between 30 and 46 million. And so if it's on the 30 side, we've got that already, plus some. If it's more towards 46, we've got other guys we can sell that we're looking to sell. We've got like Dalbert, who's going somewhere in France, hopefully. Caramo to Parma, I'd say that could be around 10 mil. João Mario fucking off to Monaco would be great. That would be like 15. And Pinamonti is supposed to go to Genoa for around like 18.
Pure plus Valenza.
Yeah, I mean, there's plus Valenza everywhere. Everywhere. Money's growing on trees. Murata and Auxilio masterclasses everywhere.
101.
Oh man. What do you guys think about any of this, Chino? Any sense you can make of these guys? Any just good riddance? Maybe you'd want some back? Anything?
I'm sure we're gonna bust on 1 or 2 of them. Somebody's gonna turn out. The amount of players we have sold over the last few years, 1 or 2 of them I'm sure are gonna turn out to be okay. But at this point in time, we could be happy with it.
I think so too, because look at, for example, Roma. They're selling Luca Pellegrini, who's one of the best left backs that Italy has, and it's like 20 years old, for Spinazzola, and they're willing to pay up to 10 mil plus Pellegrini for Spinazzola, and they have to make Plusvalenza as we have to. So they're selling Manolas, which is one of their best players, and that goes to show you how incompetent their board is. So
Not really. I wouldn't say incompetent. It could be that we did plan well. We have invested in our youth academy. People like to fucking rag on us a lot and say, oh, we don't have any Primavera players playing in the first team. But our fucking Primavera players have been keeping our first team players, without us having to sell them.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Milan, for example. Their youth team got relegated. That means that they haven't invested a lot in the Primavera, and because of that, they don't have any quality players that they can sell. So they have to sell someone like Donnarumma. So I'm saying that investing in youth players it's gonna pay up eventually.
It has been
Yeah,
paying
that
off.
was-
It has been paying off for us. And no matter how you could twist into, whatever excuses you say, it works out for us. We
Without
should
a
be
doubt.
happy. Yeah.
That's been one of the best things we've done in the banter era that we are now coming out of. But beginning to sell those youth guys has really been something that has propelled us out of that, because we could be looking like a Roma who is just in shambles, or a Milan who is excluded from Europe.
And not
But-
only that, but look at, for example, not for example, but what Tohir did with signing the deal with UEFA, which prompted us to sell those young guys for Plusvalenza. And if we didn't do that, probably Radu would still be playing on loan in some second division side, as he did before the Plusvalenza. So I think that the Plusvalenza, as Chino said, eventually is going to pay off, just because we're selling players and we're able to buy them back for a slightly higher sum of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up Tohir, because my next point that I want us to get into is 3 years of Suning. I guess either today, yesterday, day before, one of those days was the 3-year anniversary of Suning taking over the club from Tohir. And a lot has happened in those 3 years. We've had revenue increases dramatically. We had 179 million in revenues in 2016. We have now surpassed 300 million into the 360 million range this year. We've got the Champions League money. We've got the sponsorships, 100 million in sponsorships from China. Now, I mean, we went from being in the shit, really, to now a pretty healthy club. I mean, there's still some debts, but what club doesn't have debts? But they're not out of hand, and they're really sustainable.
People
where
had
we've
many
come
doubts. People had so many doubts when Suning was up to question, but they just proved them wrong, and they continued with their excellent work so far. And I mean, every single Interista should be happy. And we're heading towards something that's even better than it was in the last, 15 years, because we worked with so many losses. We were losing money, even though we won the Champions League like 9 years ago. So this is a new wave, and I think the club is in the right hands.
Yeah, I agree. Chino?
Yeah, it's gonna even get better. When we renegotiate that deal with Pirelli soon enough, we definitely need to start to get more money from them, or they need to fuck off. Our Nike deal too. We don't get enough for our jerseys. This new stadium that might be in the works. Things are only looking better for us. I mean, you can buy a fucking branded toaster, TV, coffee
Dildo.
maker.
I'd buy them all. If they were in America, I'd buy them all.
Yeah, things are looking good. Trust in Suning.
Yeah, trust in Suning. You bring up the stadium, which this is really great. You guys have been putting me into every single point that we're trying to get to today. But
More
I wanna
assists than
talk about-
Cancelo had.
I want to talk about what's going on really with the stadium now. We got where Inter and Milan came out and said they want to knock down the stadium and have a new one by 2022. But then right after that, like a few hours later, the Olympic Committee comes out and they've given the city of Milan the 2026 Winter Olympics. And with that, the city has declared that they're going to use the stadium for that opening ceremony in 2026. It's just a real big mess. It doesn't get better. It hasn't gotten better. It just gets worse. More turns in the tail. I believe both of you guys have been there. Do you guys have any laments on this development?
I mean, I've been twice to the stadium, and it's like the first time that I went to the stadium was in 2013 when we played against Juventus, and Quagliarella scored. When he scored, I wasn't even sitting down. So that's a bad sign at first. But I don't know, as time went on, the experience that I had was amazing, because I was fucking shaking the whole game. My feet and hands were
so cold from being so nervous being at the stadium, and that was an experience and a half. So, and the second time that I went, it was against Milan in 2014 or 15, I'm not sure. When there were so many goals, like at least 3 or 4 goals that were canceled out. Yeah, the experience that I had was amazing. And the stadium was like one of the best that I've been to, because it's an old stadium that has a lot of character. The stores, the Inter store was right in front of the stadium the last time that I went. The food trucks, the people that have shops all around the stadium on match day, everything makes up for the experience. But like as the time went on, teams are building new stadiums and they're modernizing as the years went on. So we have to do something to get or to maximize the support that we have from the fans, and to make the most out of it, and not pay the city of Milan so much.
Yeah, and Chino, you've been there more recently, and a lot of the talk recently has been the disrepair in the stadium, and that's kind of why they want to knock it down and not be under city control. Did you notice any of that when you were there?
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. As Hristo said, it was just, really special to be there. But, just walking up the stairs, I mean, I went to 3 games in 1 week, and I went to 3 different areas. So 3 different, sets of stairs and entrances and everything. But the place is a fucking dump. Let's be real. It's majestic inside, and it's amazing to see, what you see on TV all the time, to be there, and, the structure and everything. But the concession stands and whatnot, I don't even think there were concession stands in the fucking stadium. It's just concrete and not nice stairs, and comparing to some stadiums I went to in the States last year or whatever it was to watch some friendlies. Yeah, they could do a lot better. The vibe and everything about it is amazing, but I think they need to advance and modernize and get something better from the stadium. I mean,
yeah, and that also.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's just necessary. I mean, they have little pop-up stores and the outside and thing, but these things could be part of the stadium and have actually stores and revenue earners. Modern stadiums make money, not even on match days. They have things going on at stadiums and whatnot and things. This is how clubs make money. We need it.
And the stadium hasn't been renovated, really. The last major renovation was for the World Cup in 1990. I mean, they've done some smaller stuff before, but times are changing.
Recently, I think we were to the Champions League final a couple of years ago. So they did.
Yeah, 2015, 16. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But I mean, times are changing. We got to update or die, really. And another big thing with that is the revenue that goes to the city of Milan instead of the teams is really a big dividing point, because teams like Juventus, who own their own stadium, they bring all that money in themselves. Yeah. And then most of the teams in Italy who have stadiums that are owned by their cities, they get fucked out of a lot of it. And you've got this year with Inter, where we just broke a record. 40,000 season tickets sold out in the month of June. And there's already a wait list for 2020 and 21. But we don't really get that much of that. Imagine how much money would be coming in hand over fist if the teams own the stadium.
Yeah, the fans deserve something better, to be honest, Mikey. I mean, when you reach there, you'll be amazed and you'll feel all special and shit that, wow, this is what you see on TV and shit. But it's not impressive at all. It's
yeah, man, I gotta make it out there before 2020, whenever they tear it down. So I mean I gotta get going.
They can build a new stadium with fucking pillars and keep it, or have some sort of throwback to the old stadium. They don't have to totally just go away and go totally modern. They could have some.
I think there were plans
connection
of destroying the stadium and building a mall or something like that in the place of the stadium. So I don't think the city of Milan. I mean, if Inter and Milan played on another stadium, that stadium would be left alone and nobody will use it. So they were not. They would lose so much money, and that's why they're against it, I think.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I know it divides
I
out
guess
of
we will.
opinion, but for the benefit of the club, I think we need it.
I think that if you went to the stadium, I think the first couple of times would be an amazing experience. But if you live in Milano, or if you go to many matches in a season, you'll get bored eventually, and you'll actually realize the true picture. But yeah, the first few times would be an amazing experience.
Yeah, all that glitters is not
Yeah.
gold. But moving right along now, we have some official announcements from the club this week. We've gotten the Oriali announcement that we've been waiting for. He has returned after 9 years. He, of course, was a midfielder at the club from 1970 to 1983, making 277 appearances as a midfielder and scoring
I
33
remember
goals.
those.
He, I bet you remember those, don't you? I bet you remember the Scudetti that he won
course,
in
of course.
71
I
and 80, the 82 World Cup with Italy, and the Coppa Italia in years 78 and 82. But he comes back after being part of the management for the treble-winning team, and he's close with Conte, and he's going to be a link between management and the dressing room. And yeah, I mean, it's not a big move; it's a more honorary.
But it may be the
I mean-
move that we needed all along, because we need a link between the management and the actual players, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the case with Martusciello, right? Wasn't he the defensive coach that actually solidified our defense? So maybe this move is
Yeah.
actually one that's like under the radar, but actually is the most important move that we're gonna make this summer.
yeah, it could be very underrated. And speaking of Martusciello, they mutually terminated his contract this week, and he is off to Juve, which is kind of scary. But yeah, Chino, you remember all these Oriali goals and the tears and everything. But you got anything? Any remarks?
To be honest, he brings back some memories of good times. So I think that's all we could hope for, that, he inspires or he helps bring back those good moments, gives these players some sort of, feeling and love for the club that seem to be lacking for the past couple of years with these players, some passion. And, he's a winner. So hopefully he can bring that kind of attitude back to the club. And he's an interesting. So
Yeah.
can't miss,
With the mentality that we have, with the mentality around this club where we have these blackouts and all these spats and fights everywhere, maybe it will be, as Hristo said, maybe this will be one of the big things we do this summer.
Quietly, or not even so quietly,
yeah.
but, it's a big move, I think. Important.
Yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on that, and hopefully no blackouts, no big spats in the dressing room this year.
At least let's see if they deal with it. Even if there are spats, as they normally would be, maybe we deal with things better.
Yeah, true. It is a long season, but I mean, if we've got guys that can move around and links everywhere, they can smooth it out instead of letting it fester and destroy a season. Another thing I want to bring up, this was one of the conversations we had on the podcast Twitter account. I had brought up something, I forget which topic it was brought up on, but one of our followers, I'm not sure if he's going to be listening, I don't remember his @name. Let me see if I have it right here bookmarked. Bader Ibrahimovic at Il Toro Nera on Twitter. He shared with us an article, and he's saying that he shared with us, and it says that Inter's youth teams will be adopting Conte's 3-5-2 scheme, as well as the senior team. So this is going to be a full like depth move. This is going to be all through the interranks.
So that's a good move, I think.
And I think I think that's going to be really interesting.
Isn't that what De Boer wanted? No?
It could have been. I don't know what the fuck De Boer wanted.
After we lost to Kiev in the first round, I don't think he was allowed to do anything in the club.
I believe that there was some talk of that though. He wanted the club or from youth leagues or the
maybe,
youth sector to
but
start
like,
playing.
it was a wrong time to ask for those kind of questions because any significant progress in the European football up until then, we were we had so many missed signings. And I think this is the perfect moment to do so because we are already in the Champions League for 2 consecutive seasons. Spain, Barcelona, Ajax does that. So every single one of them has success and has had a success with young players, bringing them up. So I think it's a good move in a way that's going to be like the first or one of a kind in Italy because I don't think anybody else has that in place. And young players are going to get used to the system even when they're 17, 18. And maybe if there's an injury or two, a young player from the Primavera can slot in the first team without any hesitation or any problem.
Yeah, it looks like a change of tactic with us. Not looking for any Plusvalenzas from these players now.
Yeah,
They're actually looking for an opportunity to actually integrate them into the first team.
exactly.
Yeah, so we out of FFP agreement, not looking for all these capital gains all the time now. So I think we actually looking to capitalize on the players for ourselves now, which is good.
What I like about it is that it kind of signifies that this Conte experiment isn't going to be just like one season and out. Like this is something, if you're going to institute something all the way through your youth teams, if you're going to take these like steps to do this, you're not just going to want this guy for 1 or 2 years. Like this is a long-term project that they want. And I don't know, that brings stability, and that's not something we're used to here. And I like it. I like the idea of it.
If Conte fails or flops,
if he loses,
when he's fired by December,
if he loses 10 out of his 15 matches in Serie A, it's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
you know back and listen to this.
What is a concern as well too is, okay, you're gonna implement this style throughout all the youth sector, first team, everything. Is Conte's brand of football what we really want to play? Is not fucking Pep Guardiola we have here in a way we want to be playing.
But we never played a beautiful football, so
I understand that, all right? But you know, what is Conte's fucking style? Grit?
I mean,
win.
That's the most important thing in football.
Okay, so
we're gonna look like Italy Euro 2016, and you're gonna enjoy it.
2,000 wins.
Passion merchants. You know?
I mean, Mancini winning 1-0 like 10 matches in a row. That's the highlight of the Banterira. So I cannot wait for Conte to shithouse 5 wins in a row with 1-0 with some headers from De Vrij and Skriniar.
And our entire fucking Primavera youth sector are going to be shithousing their way to every title. I like it, you know. Dedication to the cause.
Yeah.
They might be
heart attacks.
They may get relegated for out of respect for Conte and Juventus 2006.
Oh man. Well, we'll take it out of the dumps and we'll put it into some fun stuff now. Something entered this week. We announced the away shirt, and the entirety of football Twitter, from what I saw, just melted down. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, this fucking shirt!" And I've seen people dumping money on them. Saf, I've seen you dump 110 euros into it. So I'm kind of jealous, but yeah, it's a nice shirt. And what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
I like it.
I like both this year actually, the home and the away.
I mean,
I can't actually imagine what the fucking third kit's gonna be if the away kits are out there.
I need the red one back. I desperately need it back.
The red one. You need the red cross.
Yeah, but I would go back for the red one that was made for the Chinese investors just before they fucked us over and didn't actually bought the club. You remember that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think Jack Ma was Milan's potential buyer, but I'm not sure. As far as the shirt goes, I like it, but it has to be really nice on the players. It has to fit nicely. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to look great if it fits like a fucking, I don't know, like the OJ's glove. So it has to. It has to fit nicely, and that's the most important thing when I'm looking at the shirt. So I want to buy the first shirt, the first kit, the home one, but I'm gonna wait until August, September just to see the second one in action.
Man, I still don't know about the first one. The middle, where they just broke it up, the break lines, make whatever. Oh my god, it still gives me a headache. But I mean,
sorry, Mikey. The problem with all these fucking jerseys is that they look real good on the players, but when I get home and put them on, my belly is too fucking big. It doesn't look like that on me.
Exactly.
That's why they put the vertical stripes in. They put them in for you. They're kidding. They're kidding. But we'll see with the third shirt too. I'm interested to see what Nike will come up with. Maybe they'll quit fucking us over with ugly ass shirts, like the Sprite shirt that is sitting in my closet right now.
God.
Or
imagine getting the Sprite shirt with Gabigol on the back. That's the worst combination I think ever.
Yeah, he scored like his only goal, right? In that fucking Sprite shirt.
I think so.
Yeah, he did at Bologna.
Yeah. Wait, didn't Caramo score against Bologna last season too? Or the season prior?
I almost put Gabigol on the back of that shirt.
What do you have on the back now?
And it's just a blank back, luckily. Or if I'd have got like Jean Mario or something, like it would have just been.
Look at this fucking shit housing. Chino's gonna die. Jesus. Fucking professionals, Sari. Chino Sari ball.
Okay, so we got one more fun topic. We were bouncing around this one, trying to get some people to stay and listen to us to now. If you're listening now, thank you. You've listened to us yap a fucking long time. But I want to bounce this question out there. If there was one player that in this team you could go out, get a beer, watch a game with, who would it be?
All right.
Come on, man. Just give me something here. Give me some content.
I'm gonna drink with fucking Raja, for sure.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You gonna take a
we're going to club in with Raja. Having a good time. I don't think we're gonna reach that game, for sure. Yeah, Raja and I gonna be pumping.
I mean, if you go with Raja to, I don't know, a night out, I don't think he'll stay up only for the beer,
Yeah, I'm out. We out there.
Oh man,
I would go with Raja too.
But yeah, I should have thought of that before asking that question. That's a pretty much no-brainer. I thought maybe Chino would give me a cardi or something. I don't know.
You fucking stole my line.
You beside a cardi at the beach? Oh. I want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. We're there.
But I guess if I were to do that,
I'd pay a premium price.
No, give me Lautaro. Like, Lautaro looks like a fucking serial killer when he gets into it. So, like, I wouldn't have to worry about getting mugged. So,
I mean, for protection.
Yo, you can go with Icardi on a night out and he'll protect him and his 30 killers from Argentina.
True. No, they fucking sing on that corny fucking Argentine music or whatever. And I know they will, from the videos they post something.
I mean, if you go with Icardi, you have to go with Sandro Lopez also.
I don't want to be like with Lissandro and drinking mate and all that crap. Huh?
Be drinking on his porch at like 7 in the morning for some
Yeah.
reason.
And singing songs and whatnot. I'm good. I want to go pump it, Raja.
After watching The Notebook 3 times.
Mikey, what about you?
Um,
What you
right.
said?
Lautaro.
Lautaro?
Oh, I said
Okay,
Lautaro.
let's go.
Yeah, give me Lautaro.
He's short though. He's short though.
Well, we'll take it
He's
into
short though. I think I
He's
could
short
beat two of
though. I'm
y'all.
short too. I'm short too. You put me on his shoulders. We've got like one Ranocchia or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, y'all gonna get bullied.
It wouldn't be the first time. So we'll take it into questions now. We didn't get all of our questions last week. I'll admit now they got cut out. Technical difficulties. We're sorry to the guys that got cut out, and we'll try to make that better
It's
this
just
time.
those faults.
And let's go ahead and start with this first question. I dug this one up. I missed this on the last episode, so shout out to Babadinko on Twitter, Dino. What's the overall opinion on the Lozano transfer, and will he excel or flop under Conte?
Oh, man.
I'll take it first. I think he's not going to excel, but I don't think he's going to flop. I just think he'll be a serviceable wing back, and hopefully he'll be worth the $21 million we're paying for him.
Okay, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna say he's gonna be really fucking good. Yeah.
I'll agree with Chino. I think he's going to be even better than Maicon was in 09-10.
Yeah. 09-10? Wow.
What?
Yeah, I think we're finally gonna get one after all these years of trying to get a decent player on, right?
Yeah.
I think this could be it. This one could be it. Come back to us.
You mean Danilo? Danilo, I'm not Mycon.
Yeah.
D'Ambrosio.
He's definitely finished at right back now. He's gonna play as a centre back. He's gonna play as a centre back or something most time this year.
Yo, Alzaro.
That right wing back position is not for Danilo at all. Sorry.
He's going to injure him in training in the first few months, and then, as always, Lautaro or D'Ambrosio will prevail, and he's gonna be the best right back in the league, as it was the case in the last 7 years.
If we play him 3 at the back, I don't think he's good at all as a right wing back.
Yeah, me neither.
He offers nothing going forward, yeah, for sure. So I am backing Lazaro to turn it up and be a big player for us.
Yeah, I think so too. But also, as you said, D'Ambrosio, I don't think he'll be a replacement for the right wing back. I think he's going to be more of a central back because Ranocchia is staying, Bastoni is coming back, probably on loan, but I don't know. And who else? And D'Ambrosio. We don't have anyone.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Well, I was reading today where I get my news from Enjoy Internews. Big up Enjoy Internews. Sorry.
My Bulgarian brothers.
That Brazil was probably gonna be part of the deal for Dzeko, maybe. I read that. I don't know how true that is.
I saw that too, but I don't see that happening.
I don't know. It's possible because
I guess part of me doesn't want it to happen, and part of me just doesn't really see it.
I don't really see it happening either. But him being, like we're saying, he's not going to be used, or we don't think he's going to be a good right wing back. Using them as a centre back is because we only have the only option to use him there. So he might be someone we could sell or trade or whatnot. I don't want to see it happen though.
Yeah, he's good to have in depth.
Yeah.
He's good to have in that depth. We need those options. We've been pretty thin the past few years, so the more depth, the better.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Moving right along to this next question. I think this is one that we missed, and I kind of just want to go briefly over it. This was Perisnitch on Twitter, the local meme guy these days. He says, how should Inter handle the Icardi situation? Keep him for 2 years without playing, or swap with Juve, or sell him cheap elsewhere? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think he will be sold. I think he'll be sold somewhere other than Juve. but I see going to Juve being the next likely scenario. Then maybe him staying, and bottom is him being excluded Diego Costa style. Hristo, I'll let you take it before we let Chino.
I want to hear Chino's opinion. I think that if I was the director, I think that the best thing to do at the moment is not to sell him, because his price or his value is like 50-60 million, which is not acceptable for such player. But also at the same time, the current management want to get Lukaku, and in order to get him, you have to sell him. So if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't sell him. I would keep him for, I don't know, 6 months, a year, and risk of losing him on free in 2 years rather than selling him for 50 million.
Yeah, like I said, this one is obviously tough for me. I've been adamant. I don't want him to go into Juve at all, especially at any price that Juve will offer or that we might possibly accept at this point in time. The later the transfer market or window stays open or goes on, we're just gonna become more desperate to get rid of him, and Juve could actually scoop him up pretty cheap. I don't know. It's up to Conte. Whatever Conte wants. And from what we hear, Conte doesn't want him in the club at all, and blah blah blah. But I think he should stay, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, having Lukaku and fucking Icardi in your attack with Lautaro and Politano, that I don't see a problem. I mean, Dzeko, if you get Dzeko as well, too, that's the best attack in Italy, right?
We'd have like 6 strikers at that point.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, I mean, we're playing 2 at the top. I gotta talk that one around for myself. But yeah, I mean, that's a very fair answer. That's not the we should kick everybody out and keep Icardi for 100 years that I was expecting. No. So yeah, credit to you, bro.
I mean, he already said that he's going on a holiday with him.
Yeah. Me, okay. Sandro, Wanda.
Lisandro, Chino, and Icardi are going around in a package. 3 for 1.
Sipping Mate.
So we got another question here. This is Saeed at That's What I Saeed. He's been giving us a little bit of shit because we missed his question, and he's just been all just torn up by it. Completely just can't live without being answered on this show, so let's give it to him. Thoughts on the goalkeeper situation now at Inter? Who do you guys think will be taking over for Handanovic? Brazal, Radu, or someone else? This is a really good question. I'm just giving you some shit, but yeah. I think that the heir to Handanovic is probably Brazal. Like, we wouldn't bring in some dude from Brazil if we weren't going to train him to be Handanovic's heir. Radu, I see us selling him because he's too good to be a backup. And then the backup keepers, they come and go. What do you think, Chino?
No way. Radu has been fucking great this year. I mean, he made some mistakes in some games, but he's young still. I think he's been with the club for several years. I think Radu's a good shout to take over from Handanovic in a year or two. Brazil is young. He'll have time to grow. He'll probably go out on loan again this year, for sure. I think
Well, I didn't mean this year. I mean for me, I was taking it like years in advance. But I guess, yeah, the more direct heir would be Radu if Handanovic were to get hurt or completely just fall off. We'd see something happen there.
I respect Radu.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, with Chino. Mikey went out on a limb and said Brazil is going to be the replacement. I don't believe in Brazilians anymore.
Without seeing Brazil ever play in life.
I mean, he's
Mikey. What have you been watching?
I've been watching low quality YouTube comps. What have you been doing?
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have any trust in Brazilians anymore. After them fucking us up, I'd rather go with Radu, who's been at the club for years. He knows the club. He loves the club. He's been excellent last season for Genoa. and probably he's going to stay at Genoa for a season on loan, and then he can come back. So I think if I had to say one name, it has to be Radu.
All right, that's fair.
And one last thing too. Remember, right now we're fucking rich. We might just buy a fucking baller like Oblak or something too, right?
We are so rich.
Yeah, we are. Trust me.
Hashtag
Yeah, we're balling now.
La Potenza.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think? Take one more? You guys up for that?
Sure,
It depends who has the question.
It's another Saeed question. It's the
Okay.
one we missed
That's
last
all for
time.
tonight.
Saeed.
That's what I
He's my
Saeed.
favorite. That's my
Sad.
favorite act on Twitter, by the way.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lame
it's-
as that.
It's catchy. It's catchy.
Fuck that guy.
So it's another one we'll take briefly, but I wanted to get it off my conscience since we did cut it out last time. We'll take it brief, like I just said. But with Icardi leaving, he adds, yes, Chin, it's happening. Do you think Inter will go for Dzeko and Lukaku or only one? And I think we can now take this with some hindsight since this question is a couple weeks old now and we've had news since then, that it looks like both are coming, especially if Icardi leaves. So for me, I'll just go with, both are coming. Chino, I'll let you take it, or what do you think's happening?
Well, definitely if Icardi leaves, Dzeko, Lukaku comes in. I personally don't mind Lukaku coming in and having Icardi still. We don't need Dzeko, personally. But if he leaves, Dzeko and Lukaku for sure. Right now, it doesn't seem that we're going to buy Lukaku no matter what and worry about Icardi, selling Icardi after the fact. That's what it looks like now. So, all it is, I don't know, Dzeko.
Yeah.
Dzeko is the least favorite to me. He could stay wherever he is and let him be a problem for Roma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. Especially if Icardi leaves, which is probably going to happen, and unfortunately Juventus, since the reports say that Paratici met or has plans to sign Icardi, and they're just waiting. I mean, they have nothing to lose. As the time goes on, Inter or Icardi's value is going down, and they're going to lowball us for sure. Probably going to offer us like 10 million and Cuadrado. But I don't know. If he goes, then I can see both Lukaku and Dzeko coming. But Dzeko is coming, I think, for sure. Like, if I had the same percentage, it has to be like 95.
Balkan Inter lives on.
A fucking man. Yugoslavia.
I don't know
Well,
what
that's
you're
all.
saying there, but don't discriminate towards our followers, please.
All right. Well, we'll just wrap it up here. We'll be back next week as usual. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.